Right, so I just wanted to say a few words before we welcome our next speaker, Dr Harvey. So thanks for allowing me to just say a few words. So at the end of 2012, when Christian was only a few months old, as Kon said, we were referred to Dr Harvey because Christian's seizures weren't being stopped by several medications. So even as a small baby, he'd already trialled, I think, 2 or 3 medications by the time that we met with Simon. From our very first appointment with Simon, we learnt that he was a straight shooter. He doesn't fluff around and, basically doesn't really try to make you feel better about the situation. But, he just wants you to have the facts. So we really appreciate that about you, Simon. So as hard as it was to hear the harsh reality of Christian's condition and the situation that he was in, from that moment and going forward and now 5 years later, we've left every single appointment with Simon knowing where things stand, and we've not been kept guessing, which is great. As Kon mentioned, we've gone on a bit of a roller coaster together with Simon, with many highs, like Christian learning to crawl and walk and then speaking his first few words. And Simon has been able to give us some glimmers of hope where they've all been all but gone or lost. Unfortunately, we've also been through and are still going through many lows with Christian, and especially with him continuing to still have daily seizures, despite many attempts at epilepsy surgery and medication changes. Christian has a fairly unique relationship with Simon. We'll tell him that he's going to see Dr Simon or Uncle Simon, as you've been affectionately adopted as by many of the Melbourne TS families. So we'll tell him that he's going to see Dr Simon, and usually his response is no, and he shakes his head like no. But often when we get into Simon's rooms for our consultation, it's a bit of a different story, and he's either trying to sneak around behind Simon's back and tap at his keyboard, or he'll try to steal Simon's glasses or sit on his lap to get comfy, along with also charming our epilepsy nurse, Catherine. So we nominated Simon for the Elizabeth Pinkerton Memorial Award last year, as we honestly feel that we owe Christian's quality of life to you, Simon, so thank you. Simon fights for children like Christian when other doctors have all but given up, and for that we couldn't be more grateful. Simon has also dedicated a lot of his career to working with TSC patients, many who are in the room today, and also very importantly conducting research into trying to untangle the web of very complex epilepsy and other issues associated with TS. And it's obviously not a very easy task, as you all know. So Simon, on behalf of our family and of those who are here but also not here, we wanted to say thank you very much for all that you do and for taking chances and risks and, trying to improve the lives of children with TS, and especially those who are complex, like our Christian. You have a very special place in our family, and I'm sure of many of the families here. And just on a very personal note, we just wanted to thank you for helping us keep Christian's very cheeky spark alive, which you know very well. So thank you.
I hate to ruin the moment, but I feel the pressure of my family to actually explain what the Elizabeth Pinkerton Memorial Award is, for those of you who haven't heard about it. So what I didn't say this morning is that not only am I privileged to work for TSA, but my reason for becoming involved was my sister Elizabeth Pinkerton. She was probably a tricky one, like Chris, but we didn't have what we know now, and we didn't necessarily have a Simon Harvey. And so it's amazing and, challenging to hear how different life is. And life is different because of those clinicians and those researchers who wouldn't give up and who push what we know and try and figure out these puzzles that are these kids with TSC. And it was fantastic to get Jo and Kon's nomination last year. And although Simon was told about this last year, we'd much rather give the award in person. And so I'm really pleased on behalf of the Pinkerton family, which is my maiden name, to present the 2016 Elizabeth Pinkerton Memorial Award, given annually by us to a health professional in recognition of their efforts to improve the lives of families living with TSC in Australia. So Simon, would you please come and accept the award from myself and Jo and Kon?
Thank you, Sam. Thanks.
Thanks, Sam.
Microphone.
Thanks, Claire, and thanks, Jo and Kon. I'm very honoured to receive this award. It's a great privilege to be connected with the society and to be here today, and very special to this award, along with several of my colleagues in previous years who work in the field. It's also a privilege to be involved with many of the families here that I see regularly and go through what has been a long journey. Some have quite good outcomes, and unfortunately there are kids like Christian where, despite tremendous efforts with medicines and operations, we still can't get on top of seizures. As you'll hear in a moment, that's where I come from. I'm an epileptologist. I look after children with epilepsy, and unfortunately tuberous sclerosis is a condition where the seizures can really do bad things for development. So that's an area I feel very passionate about, and what drew me very much to TS. As I said, it's a privilege to receive this award, and a privilege to be working with you all. Thank you.